Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Phoning It In. I'm Michael Carvelli, joined by John Terry. And we're back again. Another two-man show. The two-man era continues.
Two-man era continues. You know, we get some guests every now and then. Granted, we didn't really tell anyone when we were recording today, so that's kind of right. We're just doing it. Yeah. So, big thanks to Cody for coming on last week. Big thanks to Nick for coming on 2 weeks ago. And my cat has already interrupted the podcast here. Hold on. All right. Anyways, but yeah, man, how you doing? How's your week going?
I'm good. It is interesting. I am at home today, but this is the first week that I have been getting back into the office to work a little bit, which is interesting.
And you've been going back once every couple of weeks to do stuff I've
been on
campus, but you're not sitting at a desk.
Yes, I have not been at my desk in our office since March. Or well, I think I went back around May or June to pick a couple things up, but it's been a year.
And so you got there. What time did you arrived at the office early? And then what time did you?
8:30, 9 o'clock when I was supposed to start.
Okay. And then how long did you make it?
What do you mean?
You were the only one there, right? And you said you were going to leave early, or did you end up staying?
Oh, I didn't leave early. No.
Oh, okay.
So basically, once I left to go meet a friend for lunch, and then when I got back, a couple of people that sit next to me had gotten in.
Where'd you go to lunch?
So one of my friends works in one of the law firms in our building.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And on the bottom floor of our building, they've got this little cafe that has salads and flatbreads and different things like that. So I just got a little pepperoni pizza flatbread.
Is Black Bear still open?
It is. They've reopened, but it was not open on Monday. It's not open on Mondays.
Dude, love Black Bear.
Yeah.
I told Mariel when one day when we go back to Morgantown that she would actually, I think, really appreciate.
She would love it.
Yeah,
she could eat what I get all the time.
You get a tofu thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do the good calypso with tofu.
Dude, good calypso, man. Oh, good calypso with some grilled chicken. That is just.
See, I never have done the. I always would do.
Or was it turkey? Maybe
I would always. You could do turkey, chicken, tofu, or steak. I think are the choices.
I did steak. Good calypso with steak is what I always do.
I would always do turkey, and then honestly, when we were doing the podcast, and we did that thing that was let's try to eat vegetarian for a week or whatever. We went to lunch at Black Bear one day at work, and I was like, oh, I'll just get it with tofu instead, and that's what I've gotten ever since.
That's incredible. What does it come with on the side? You get the wrap, right? They come with fries or something?
Chips.
Or salad. Chips. Man, you remember you used to be able to, and I don't know if this is a thing anymore, but a WVU ticket stub, it got you a $5 entree or something on Tuesdays, I think.
It was Mondays, and that was why we would go there. My first job on campus, a couple years ago, we would go every Monday, and everyone would literally at a point, everybody had one ticket that we would use, and it was a digital ticket, so you were able to just print it off every week and just give them the same ticket.
Do they do that anymore?
I believe so. Yeah, it's been a while. So they had closed down for a while
for COVID.
Yeah, and they've just recently opened. So I haven't gone back since they opened up, but I would imagine they still do.
I remember after games when I was a GA, I would literally walk around the Coliseum trying to find ticket stubs and stockpile them.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go to lunch with people, and it was an easy way to be oh, it's a quick lunch.
They did that, and then you can also one of those places where they have the little punch card where you do.
Right, you get 9 or whatever. Yeah,
buy 9, you get the 10th one free or whatever.
What a deal, man! That and Tudor's Biscuit World, I miss.
I have not been to Tudor's in forever. I genuinely don't think I have been to Tudor's since I've moved up here. When I was in Charleston, I would go there every now and then because I lived right around the corner from one. So occasionally, if I had to go into the office, in the morning, which was pretty rare newspapers, you don't really have to work during the day very often. But if I did have to go in, I would just pop over to Tudor's and pick up one. But I haven't been there in forever.
Man, I went there way too much. Well, with Nick, actually, a lot when
one of the most satisfying experiences I had at Tudor's. I would say at any restaurant was at Tudor's. It was a morning after we all had like a little party.
I remember that morning, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all left your house at like 3.
Maybe later than that.
3 or 4 a.m. and we were up by like 6:30, 7 o'clock and texting each other like, let's just go to Tudor's. And it was one of the most satisfying food experiences.
We sat at that front booth and I remember wearing sunglasses inside because my head hurt so badly, but I felt like $1 million after it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. So anyway, sorry, back to your campus. So I guess, did you like being back? How miserably tired were you?
It's so weird. I was like dead. I did not have like a crazy day. I had one meeting. On Mondays, it can be a time where I have like 3 meetings or 4 meetings or whatever. This one, I only had one. I had one at the end of the day. I guess I had 2 technically, but 1 actual meeting at the end of the day. And I was, for some reason, like exhausted by the end of it. I was like, holy crap. Like,
I've been saying since the beginning of this pandemic that regardless of what companies do, like whether you're going back to work full time or whatever, they have got to realize that employees need to ease back into this. Like employees aren't used to commuting like an hour each way. Employees aren't used to sitting one place stationary. Yeah. Employees are used to just going to the refrigerator and eating whatever the hell they want. I mean, I'm serious. Like,
yeah. No, you're right. It was also very funny that one meeting I had at 3:30, like toward the end of the day. It's like our social team meeting. So it was like, the 10 of us or whatever. But one of the people who like sits near me that ended up coming in toward the end of the day is also one of the people in that meeting. So we weren't sure how to approach that because we were both in a meeting together that was via Zoom still because not everybody's in the office. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we went into like the little, our creative lounge area where we always have that meeting typically like when we're in person. And we were like, so should we just bring like one laptop in and like sit next to each other? Or should we have like multiple laptops? So we ended up we both brought our laptops in and sat on like separate sides of the room. And we're like talking in the meeting while
we
were
like mute and stuff. That's annoying when you're in the
we had to stay muted obviously because you didn't want to have an echo at all. But also like when he would talk, I would hear him through my headphones, like, and also him obviously being in the room. So it was like very weird. And like Tony like texted us during the meeting. He was like, why are you guys not just like sharing the same computer for this? He was like, I just see Carvelli looking over at Sean laughing the entire time. And it's an interesting time. It was good. It was good to be back. I did realize that I forgot. Like,
I was going to ask about this because that was a funny text message. You literally forgot everything you needed.
Not literally everything I need. Like I made a strong point to remember the big things, which is obviously great. I remembered my monitor. I remembered my computer, like the stuff that I needed literally to do work. I was good. Like I had it all good to go. I did forget like my keyboard. I forgot my mouse. I forgot a phone charger.
A phone charger. That's the killer. Hopefully you're able to find one.
I did. So in my defense, I thought that I had left it. I thought I had left one at my desk.
Oh, you may have, and someone just stole it.
I don't think so, but maybe. But
I mean, they installed the locks to get into the bathroom, so maybe there was some crime.
Almost, I forgot.
So I have a question about that. Did you like get up to go to the bathroom and you couldn't get in?
Yes.
So then, how did you get the code?
Well, they had sent it a while ago. Like when the code happened, they sent us an email saying, "Hey, heads up! Whenever you go into the office, we now have to put in a code when we go to the restroom."
Got it.
And I had just forgotten it by the time. And it was also very weird. It kind of felt horror movie-ish when I went into the bathroom. Because obviously, if the bathroom is locked for everyone to get in, once you punch the code and once you go in, like the door automatically will lock back.
Right.
So I'm like walking toward the urinal to use the bathroom. And all of a sudden I hear like the lock snap back into place. And I like hurry up and like look, and I'm like thinking somebody had like come in or something. I'm like, oh my God. And then realized, oh, it's just locking back up again. So yeah.
There's a ghost, man.
Yeah, exactly. Super
nice. Well, that sounds exciting, dude.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start going back. I think typically I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday. This week I did not. Obviously, we're recording on Tuesday, and I'm in like a t-shirt and sweats right now. But I think I'm going to start going Monday, Tuesday, and then like pick a third day.
Got it. Okay.
So our whole thing is, I think we have to go in. I think they want us in at least 2 days a week.
Oh, that's nice.
So that'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get. I mean, it was so nice. Like toward the end of the day, just having had one of those times where it was like a half hour of just like sitting at our desk, like a couple people coming over to our
and, like,
area,
chatting
and just talking for a while. And it was.
I used to love that, man.
Right. It's one of my favorite things. I love it.
So what's not fun about going into work is when your car battery dies.
Oof.
Not great, man. Had to go into work this morning.
Did you?
Long story. I was going to go into work this morning, but then like at 1 o'clock yesterday, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go in this afternoon. So I got all dressed, right? Because again, I was just wearing like shorts and a t-shirt. Went to go to the car, and the car battery's dead. Completely dead. Whatever. Called AAA, which I strongly believe in. They came, they jumped the battery. Hey man, we ran a diagnostic. Your battery's good. Don't worry about it.
Nice.
Cool. That's sweet. Thank you. Drove around for like 45 minutes because after you get your car jumped, just like charge that battery up, right? Last night about 9:30, preparing to wake up this morning at like 6:30, 6:45 to go, and I need to put a bunch of boxes in the car that I was bringing in to work, and car's dead again. 9:30 at night. Let me remind you that my car was crushed by a tree a year ago, so we're down. So we have one car. So the problem with the one car thing is it becomes very difficult when you have to get the car somewhere to like do service. Not like I had to figure out how I was getting to work. I had to be at work this morning.
Yeah.
So we're like, should I wake up at 6? Like, do we get the car jumped and then I keep it going and I take it in somewhere? Like, what do we do? Because we thought the battery was good. Anyways, I learned that scheduling Ubers is like a great way to save money. I scheduled an Uber. It was only $22. If I would have called it this morning, it would have been like 46 or something.
Ooh.
Ended up just Ubering home. It was like not a cheap day on the Uber. But I was home by 10 and then had AAA come out again and they ran diagnostics. And they're like, yeah, dude, your battery needs to be replaced. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why didn't the first guy tell me this? So I say that we're all good. I have not. So it was about noon. The battery was good. And I'm going to go back out there when we're done recording and turn on the car and hopefully it turns on.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
I would imagine.
Because Michael Terry's coming this weekend. So it would really be nice to have a car that works.
Yeah, it would help.
Yeah, it'd be good. I mean, we'll be Ubering a lot of places, but like picking him up from the airport and stuff, that would be nice.
You just rent a car.
I could rent a car, but it'd probably be cheaper just to Uber. The rental car market now is crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's where we're at. I'm just, and the annoying thing though is if the car doesn't start again tonight, it's like, okay, do I get it towed to like, what do you do? Do I get it jumped and then like drive it to a place and then be like, hey, my car's gonna die, where do you want me to park it? Like, what do I do? Like I don't. Also, if it dies at this point, it means like it's probably a much more serious issue because the battery's new. So anyways, man, not fun. Not a fun discovery. I was like literally tired and getting ready to go to bed and I found this out and I was not pleased at all.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. It's one of those things where like, and I'm assuming I'm putting an assumption on you as well here, but like, I'm assuming you also don't know a lot about cars.
No, I mean, I know what I Googled last night. Cars are actually, I know, like, I feel like I know a decent stuff about like buildings and homes just based on like what I used to do for work.
Mm-hmm.
But cars make me nervous, man. Like you got like gas and oil and combustion and big batteries and like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like if anything big like that would happen, I would just have no idea how to approach doing
so that. I still have this mechanic I mentioned to you via text, but there's this service and they
that's what I wanted to get to.
It's an at-home mechanic. It's called mymechanic.com or something, yourmechanic.com. And you can have a mechanic come to your house and you tell them what's wrong and they'll give you a quote and they come check your thing out. So I went ahead and scheduled it they had a 9 a.m. appointment tomorrow morning, and they didn't have any other appointments for like the next 2 days. So there's like a cancellation fee, but I figure I'm going to be happy if I get to cancel it and I'm only out if my car is fixed and I need to cancel it, then it's like a, job well done. But but it's super cool. My sister's used it a couple times.
It's a neat idea.
It's like, because, as I was mentioning, getting a car to a shop is, it's a pain in the butt, especially if you only have one, like if you're, single or whatever, and you don't have someone who can like pick you up, like, what are you supposed to do? So it's like it's super cool service. I've never used it. I don't think. I think I've like thought about it once, and obviously I'm scheduled to have an appointment in the morning. But pretty, and like very affordable. Like it seemed like very reasonable for what you'd pay at like a real car mechanic.
Right. So. Yeah. Very nice. Well, glad it seems to be on the road getting figured out.
Well, I hope so. We'll find out in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. once we finish this up and everything. So what else? You also had a very unique experience that made me very, very jealous and excited for any future trips to Chicago this weekend.
The bar.
Yeah.
Dude, it was wild, man.
It looked like a fun time.
It was fun. Friend David, who we went to this place. So first off, we went to this bar actually like right by our old apartment to watch the fight. Which
I would also love to talk. I know here's
the thing. I don't love fighting. Can we
take a side?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, I hate UFC mostly because you have to pay a cover to get in everywhere. Mariel obviously doesn't like UFC. Yeah, David does not like UFC. Mm-hmm. His wife does not like UFC, but this other guy we were with and his girlfriend like enjoy UFC. Like this guy's really into it.
Yeah.
So we had to go watch this fight. Also, like the fight didn't start till like 11:30. I made an espresso martini at like 10:30 before we left our home to go hang out with them because it was so late.
That's the other thing about it. It's like the same with all fighting really.
Yeah, right.
Boxing, that even like for me when I watch like wrestling stuff, like
why is that though? Is it because like kids shouldn't be watching it?
It's the main event.
Yeah, but like why does it like the Super Bowl doesn't start at 11 p.m.?
Well, you also have to think, I don't know where this fight was.
It was Vegas.
Okay, that's another thing then. Like, it's gonna start at like 11:30 or midnight for me or you. And over there, it's going to be a couple hours earlier.
Okay, that's fair. Fair point. But so I just, dude, like,
it's fascinating.
So I was into it. Like, I put some money on it, and it was
an
fun.
Interesting thing to watch in like a crowd of people.
Agreed. Had I not been at this bar, possibly getting COVID, it would have been really boring.
It's very, very interesting. Like, I've gone over to some friends' houses to watch it. When they've bought it, and I'll like pitch in a little bit to help with the paying of it and whatnot. It's something where I would never pay like to watch it at home by myself.
Hell no.
Absolutely not. And this is coming from a person who does like once every few months will pay like $50 to watch like a professional wrestling pay-per-view. I will do that, but I will not do that to watch UFC or boxing.
So the only thing that made this somewhat doable is that we didn't have to pay a cover to get into the bar. If I had to like fork over $5 to get into a bar where I was going to go buy like a $9 drink, I would have been really upset.
Yeah.
Like would not have been pleased at all.
And go ahead.
It was also with people who didn't enjoy it too. So like we were having side conversations,
which
was fun. And like the bar wasn't as packed as it wasn't like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
But then, like, the worst thing about fighting is, like, I was actually enjoying it, mostly because I had money on it, and I wanted the fight to end between the third and the fourth minute in the third round. But it just, it was so anticlimactic.
That's the thing. This is
no one even knew it was over before it was over.
Outside of, like, my general, like, not loving, like, actual fighting stuff, that's the other thing that makes it so not worth the risk of pain. There's such a huge risk when you buy like a boxing or UFC thing, because first off, 9 times out of 10, like sure, like some of those undercard fights might be good. Like there might be some good names in there. You'll get some good fights in it, whatever
that means, by the way.
What?
a good names. Like I'm just saying,
like names that people know, like people.
Yeah, but you got to be into fighting to know that.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing as saying like, who cares about the NBA if you don't know who the guys are?
Fair point.
So you might get some good fights there that'll be fun to watch, whatever. But mostly you're paying for the people are not paying for like that trash Greg Hardy guy or whatever. Like people are paying for Conor McGregor versus whatever the other guy's name was. I can't remember. Sorry to any UFC fans.
Poirier or something.
Yeah, him. Like you're paying for that fight, and the risk is totally there of that fight ending with one punch or with one guy breaking an ankle.
And honestly, this one went to the second round. Like that was exciting. It went to the second round. I was like, I feel like this is the first big fight in a while that's gotten to the second round.
Yeah,
because everyone just gets like knocked out.
Yeah, like people can get knocked out right away, or even worse, like you have things like the people who paid all that money for like the Mayweather and Logan Paul fight quote, where you pay a bunch of money and they're just like kind of walking around the ring, like grabbing each other, like not really doing a whole lot. And you're like, oh no, this was a giant waste.
Right.
Like it's so risky, man.
At
least if I pay $50 to watch like the choreographed fighting and I know I'm getting now, barring like a freak injury or something like that puts the show to a halt, like you're getting a really fun thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing, man. I also just don't like violence either, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like,
that's one of my main things about it. Is like, I have no real interest in watching people like for real beat each other up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Cause it's crazy. Like, dude, not great. Interesting. Yeah. I had no interest in watching it, obviously, but it was,
but it seemed like a good time. And it's the
first time. Yeah. It's the first time I've actually watched one of those, but I enjoyed it because of like, you're with company, you're at a place, whatever. Then we went to this bar afterwards.
Oh, so it was not the same place.
No.
Okay. I was under the assumption it was the same place.
Different place. A place called the Holiday Club.
Okay.
Which is like a 90s bar.
Nice.
Kind of dive bar-y, but like fairly nice. Definitely like COVID was flying in the air for sure.
No, you're fine.
And dude, at like 1:30, Mariel and I were like, we gotta go to bed. This is crazy. Come on. We're tired. We had a lot to drink too.
Live it up. Live it up, man.
Thing didn't close till 3 o'clock.
Stay up.
So
the night is young.
Dude, and then all day Sunday, I was just like dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Worth it.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun night.
It's one of those things you were like, we had this conversation about it, and I'm going to bring it up now, but it's like after the past year, like a place, packed bar, packed club, whatever, like that. At this point in like 2019 for me, I have almost little to no interest. Now, if like you guys or another like good friend was like, hey, we're going to this place, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. And I would probably have a great time, whatever. But in my head, I'd be like, God, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? But right now I'm like, give me all of that. I'm so ready to get to more things like that. So
yeah, it was a weird experience just being out among the people.
Yeah.
Like just odd. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Just odd.
Yeah.
But it makes me sad. Like I knew this would never happen, but how much fun would it have been like where there was like an official day where COVID was over? Like that's obviously never going to happen. Like COVID's literally going to be around for the rest of our lives. I believe that. But like, can you imagine like how crazy, like,
I know. I think that was
COVID done and the streets go wild.
We all sort of, when everything started, I think we all had that vision in our head of there being a day where it was like 0 people now. And like everyone just like went to the streets and like went nuts. And I
think that still will be a day when we have 0 cases in the United States, but
we'll see.
Who knows when that's going to be? Like it literally might be after we're dead.
Yeah.
Or when like, the New York Times goes under and there's no one counting anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think, it's definitely, and it does feel like it's getting to a point where we're talking about this kind of stuff like a lot now. Every time we do something, we're like, oh, I did something this week. Now we need to talk about it on the show because it's like getting out into the world. But it's a much You had a much better experience at a bar than I had last week. I will say that.
Oh, wait, I want to talk about this. We can talk about it briefly, but I want to talk about this.
So
I am so freaking curious about this situation.
Okay. So as you know, group of friends here, we go and play trivia pretty much every week.
What a tradition.
It's
a tradition
so
like none other.
We won this past week, by the way. That's how this story ends, with us winning. And choosing to never go back to this place ever again. So we have like there are a couple different like companies, I guess you would call it, that run trivia games at bars around the area.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So we basically have a list and we say, okay, on Tuesdays we can go this place, Wednesdays we can go these places, there's whatever. So we went on a Wednesday last week and we ended up at some point during, like before I was going out with them, they had started to go back to this bar in Fairmont.
Okay.
And they had gone to play trivia there and they had decent times. Like the food's not great. It's a cheap, like little crappy local bar, whatever. But it's a fun trivia game, blah, blah, blah. So I have now gone with them to this place twice. The first time we went.
What's it called?
I don't. It's called Magic's. I feel bad like putting them on blast like this.
I know. I'm just curious.
But it's called Magic's. The first place that we went, or the first time I went with them for it, we get there and a couple people had like already ordered like beers and stuff and like had stuff that they were needing to pay for. And the waitress comes up to us and goes, "Hey, are you guys here for trivia, by the way?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, we're actually not having trivia this week." So we're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Then I guess we're not going to stay." So like people paid for their beers and we left and we went over to a friend's house and played like Jackbox games and stuff like that for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
So then this week comes around and we get there this time.
Oh, and this place isn't actually in Fairmont. This is like south of Fairmont.
But it's in Fairmont.
It's Fairmont proper. Okay.
Yeah. So we get there and first off, we had someone call ahead of time and say, "Hey, are you guys having trivia tonight?"
Great move.
They said, "Yes, we are." Clearly, we had follow-up questions we should have asked because we get there, we walk in, we do see the guy's trivia setup is there. So we're like,
this
okay,
is great. Yeah.
Trivia is happening. So we get in, we get to our table, waitress comes over, gets our drink orders. We all order waters for the time being, whatever.
Turns out to be a smart move.
I know, right? She brings us our drinks and she says, "Oh, hey guys, by the way," and we're like, "Oh no, like this is happening again. There's trivia. We see the guy." She goes, "By the way, the chef didn't show up today, so we don't have food." And we're like, all right, cool. And she just like walks away. She doesn't like ask us any, no chance to ask any follow-up questions, anything like that.
Like, do you want to stay or like?
And that's what we're like starting to figure that out. And we're like, okay, basically our options are either we can stay here and just play trivia and like have some beers, not eat, or we can like order a pizza and have them deliver it to the restaurant.
Have they told you at this point that you could order food?
They hadn't told us that, but if they aren't going to offer us food, we should be allowed to order.
Agreed. I agree. Yep.
But as we're game planning this out, the waitress comes back over and says, "Oh, by the way, we are ordering pizzas to come here. So you guys do have food." There are 4 trivia teams. Our trivia team has like 6 or 7 people. The other teams have anywhere between like 2 and 4. So you can do the math in your head of approximately how many people we're talking here.
Yep.
They ordered 3 hot and ready pizzas from Little Caesars. Now, granted, I don't want to complain. We didn't have to pay for the pizza. But also that's not a lot to go around for everybody to have a meal.
Oh, so I didn't realize that. I thought you guys ordered the pizza.
No, the bar did. They ordered 3 for everybody.
I did not know that. I thought you ordered 3 for yourself or whatever.
No, they ordered 3 for everyone. Thankfully, we had one person who was like running late. And so we did a Chick-fil-A order. And she picked up Chick-fil-A on the way. And
which ended up being very smart.
Yeah. So we ended up having, it was just a very odd situation of like eating Chick-fil-A and crappy Little Caesars pizza while.
Has that ever I don't think that's ever happened to me before. Like,
I mean, I don't think it's food. Yeah, I mean, the guy just didn't show up.
Also, like, there's just one guy making all the food?
I mean, it's a small bar. Like,
yeah.
I doubt that they've got like a whole team of chefs.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. Yeah. It makes it better that the bar only ordered 3 pizzas for everyone. Like, what are they, $5 a pop? Like, order like 8 or 9 of them.
Now, granted, I will give them, you know, in their defense in that situation, like they didn't make us pay for it, so everything is a loss.
That's fair. You didn't have to pay for drinks.
We did have to pay for drinks.
Okay, got it.
But here's what we did: we won trivia.
How much did you guys win?
We won $25.
There we go.
$25 to there.
Right.
And we're like, well, we're never coming back here again. So we're just going to use we bought 2 buckets of beer.
What type? Like Miller Lite or something?
What did we do? It was like Michelob and Coors or something like that. Just a couple domestics and $15 a pop for 6 beers each. And we used the $25 that we won, and then we gave the rest we gave the rest in cash to cover that in the tip, and we just left as champions.
Going out on top, baby.
That's right. Have to do it. It was a very interesting time. I don't know. It was we had 2 vastly different bar experiences this week, it's always nice.
I'd totally forgotten about that.
I did too until I mentioned it. So what, you want to get into the movie club this week?
Let's get movie club.
Let's do it.
I'm excited about this one.
This was my pick, which was made at the suggestion of Allison Carvelli, who could not believe I hadn't watched this before.
Okay.
I had heard good things about it. This week we watched Always Be My Maybe. It is a Netflix original. It came out in 2019, starring Randall Park and Ali Wong. About two childhood friends reunited after 15 years, and they feel old sparks and have to adjust to each other's new lives. John Terry, what did you think about Always Be My Maybe?
So here's the thing about Always. I thought this was the first time I had watched this movie. So we sit down to watch this movie, and Mario goes, "John, we've seen this before."
It's usually
a good sign. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a good sign, and then I slowly started. It took me about 20 minutes to remember.
What was the point in it that you realized?
Like right before, well, I don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
Well, it's not really giving anything away. It was at the beginning. It was right before the mom died.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I get it. Here's what's going to happen, and then it happened.
That's not 20 minutes in.
Fine, 10 minutes in, whatever. It was still shocking. Yeah. Don't hate the movie. So here's the thing. After we watched the movie, we were talking about how it compared to The Proposal, and brought up your point.
I think this is, it's very comparable to that.
I think it's better though. There's more of a backstory, and it's more realistic.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing: The Proposal. While I commented on how I liked it was a short period of time. Mm-hmm. Like, dude's not gonna fall in love with a boss that you've been working for years in 3 days and marry her. Like, I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen. And also, it's not gonna happen anyways. The story in this movie was very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I thought it was. Yeah, I know you'll get to it. I think that there was. I mean, it's just a good story. There's good humor. Like, they're different storyline. Like the whole restaurant storyline. I thought it was weird how like the super rich like boyfriend guy like kind of just like went off into the sunset. I thought that was strange. Like it just relationship just abruptly ended.
Yeah.
Like the whole story around the band is fascinating. Like the HVAC thing is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I thought the parents, like, I think the underrated stars in this movie are the guy's dad and then the woman's parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the beginning you don't really like either of them, and by the end of the movie you love them, kind of. Yeah. And so I think that's good. I don't know. It was just a very enjoyable movie, like good soundtrack, like just good, like upbeat, never get bored during it. Just it was good.
You're forgetting maybe like the most pleasant, wonderful surprise of the movie.
What's that?
Which is the emergence of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That part was weird.
But here's the thing, and that's why, because I also probably put it on similar footing to The Proposal.
Very similar though to the weird scene in The Proposal.
And this is what I'm about to say. I think like it has like the grounded story of the romance with like The Proposal had like wacky Betty White, which didn't really hit for me. And this had wacky Keanu Reeves, which really did. Like, I loved it. Him just being like, him playing himself turned up to like 15 was perfect.
So similar to that, you just made me think of it. But one of the most disgusting parts of the movie was when they were eating the hot dogs, like the cooked up hot dogs and the spaghetti or whatever. And like, I literally like got nauseous watching that. It was good though, man. I forgot about Keanu.
It's a good movie.
Keanu part.
I really like
it. Favorite scene.
I mean, it might be the Keanu stuff, honestly.
So it's related to Keanu. Mine
them at home, like them at the place, at the house.
When he went trying to find the suit, or when he was like trying to buy a suit, and he's like, "What?" That was
yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and I've seen that. So I had seen that memed before, especially because recently, I mean, Randall Park now is like in all the Marvel stuff,
right?
So he's like become a thing in pop culture. So people are like, "Oh, remember this time that Randall Park like killed this scene or whatever," and so I had seen that and loved it, and had kind of forgotten that it was with this movie until it came up, and I got so excited when I saw it. So yeah, that's a great one. I don't know. It's interesting. We've talked about the need to see some modern romantic comedies, and it's very interesting. The two that we picked are very distinct.
Yep.
Because they're showing different Asian Americans, which is also different from like a Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks movie, or
that's a good point.
Basically, it's a key thing about these modern movies, which is interesting. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, because I did want to make sure I pointed that out, but there's one big thing that I thought immediately when I saw the premise of this movie, and I was very excited to be talking about it with you personally. I want to know how much this hit home in the Terry household in Chicago.
So I didn't even realize that. When you texted me this morning, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess that's kind of right." Yeah.
John and Big Mo, two lifelong childhood friends. Will they? Won't they? Their entire lives. Always no. Then the end of the movie, they get together and everything's great.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was funny you said that, because I definitely will watch other movies and be like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." But this one, no, I didn't think of it, but I do think there are obviously some parallels.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was really cool. I mean, obviously, like different things happen.
Yeah, right. Like it's a much different situation.
Like Mariel's not quite a famous chef.
No, I wish. And I'm not like a rock star.
You have zero musical talents.
The HVAC thing though, I feel like I could be a little dangerous with that.
It's possible.
Yeah. No. So yeah, it's interesting. It was so, I think it was actually probably as fascinating for you watching it and having this conversation, but it was as fascinating for me, you pointing that out, me not realizing, and then being like, "Oh yeah, makes sense."
Yeah. It was one thing, like literally like before I even started it, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
It's good. It's a great movie. Like
I liked it a lot.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Like definitely better than, I don't know what our current ranking is, but we should just put that in.
I'll tell you right now.
Maybe. Okay.
We have. So I will say I think it certainly falls into, and we've talked about this before. I think you have like your couple like tiers of rom-coms. I think this is definitely in one of those like where obviously it's not going to happen because it's a Netflix movie. But like if this thing had been made in the time where like it wasn't going directly to a streaming service, I could see this being on TV all the time.
Yep, agreed.
And always really enjoying just like stopping and watching parts of it. So it definitely falls into that category, same as The Proposal and all that stuff. So currently, we have at number 1, You've Got Mail. Number 2, 10 Things I Hate About You. Number 3, Palm Springs. Number 4, The Proposal. I'm interested in seeing where.
What is this one called again? What's this movie called?
Always Be My Maybe.
Not an easy name to remember. So I think it's definitely above The Proposal.
I would agree with that.
Man, it's close with Palm Springs for me. Like Palm Springs is good. I just enjoyed this type of chick flick more.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it higher than Palm Springs. I would. I thought the relationship with the parents put it over the like. I just thought it was more dynamic than Palm Springs. Granted, it's been like 8 months since I've watched Palm Springs.
Palm Springs just hit its 1-year anniversary, by the way, which makes me feel like it's been a wild. Like I don't know. Feels like it's been way longer.
I would put Always Be My Maybe over Palm Springs. I just think there was more to it. Like, yeah, there were some cringy parts and like, but it look, both were equally weird. So you can't count like the weird thing against either of them. I thought the other one was more creative just because of like, it's not just like your typical rom, but the Palm Springs is more creative. But I like this one, how you had a full story and you saw the entire depth of the relationship from when they were little kids until the end. You saw them both have other significant others that fell out of the picture. You both, what I thought had like rocky relationships with parents that ended up being, much better. I just liked it. I like your point about like, it starring like Asian Americans. Like you don't see that often. So I'd put Palm Springs behind Always Be My Maybe.
You make a compelling argument.
Yes.
I think Palm Springs is a vastly better movie.
I probably need to watch Palm Springs again
I am too, going to. I also have recently rewatched Palm Springs.
Okay, and I have not.
I will concede this to you though.
Hell yeah. Let's go. I want an argument about movies.
I've got to play I've got to see. Here's the thing with this. It's a game of strategy at this point because you've got to give the other person enough so that you can get what you want in the end.
Yep.
I have an end game that I'm looking for in this.
I just thought it was so enjoyable, man.
It's a really fun rom-com, and I think in terms of like
and look, here's my thing. Can I say one more thing about this Palm Springs?
Yeah.
I didn't love that movie. I don't know if you remember when we like went over it. I thought it was a little strange and like I just didn't love it.
It's definitely, and that's part of why I'm fine to put it below it.
Now next week's going to be interesting because I feel like, have you ever seen Crazy Rich Asians?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen
it. Another fun rom-com.
Really fun.
Fun.
A blast to watch.
And not weird.
No, it's very much, it's another one that is like, I think it's been a conversation I've heard on like different like movie podcasts and different like criticism stuff that I've read and listened to in the past, which is that like modern rom-coms have been sort of iffy at best, I guess. And so like when things are good and they hit, like they feel really special. So like even if it's just like putting a little tweak on something that's fairly common, they really stand out. And I think that's why like this was a good one. That's why Crazy Rich Asians worked so well. They give you that like really fun experience of just like, what's going to happen. You're never going to go into a romantic comedy and be like shocked by the end, by like what happens at the end. You know what's gonna like. Yeah, right. Ultimately, they're gonna get together. 9 times out of 10, like it very rarely happens where they don't.
Yep.
So if you can take like this fact that you know what's gonna happen at the end and do something to make it like
entertaining,
feel a little different, then you're gonna be a great one. So I'm very excited. This was good. I'm fine with it being number 3 as of right now. We're 5 in. We're 4 of our 20 picks in. And you are next to take Crazy Rich Asians, which is 2018. So another modern one. Constance Wu, Henry Golding, an American-born Chinese economics professor, accompanies her boyfriend to Singapore for his best friend's wedding, only to get thrust into the lives of Asia's rich and famous.
Very, 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 very excited about this one. It's just been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, same here. It is on HBO Max. And I think that's the only place you can get it streaming. You can rent it, buy it wherever you want. Yeah, very excited for it. It should be good. I don't know. I really like this. It's such a fun thing to do. These are so they're so easy to watch. Perfect. I love this little experiment we're doing. But yeah. Anything else?
It's also fun to stay on the same theme too. Like
yeah. We're instead of just like bouncing around to like something super serious one week and then, yeah. I like that we're doing this one. But yeah, anything else? I think we've got everything.
No, sir.
We were a little long last week. We're a little long this week, but not too bad. We got a little carried away with Cody on last week.
We did go along. I was editing that. And
we were close to an hour.
We were very close to an hour. Very, very, very close to an hour.
That is all we've got this week, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to check us out, whatever podcast app you're using. Give us a 5-star rating and review while you are there. John, where can they find us on the socials?
They can find us at phoningitInpodcast@gmail.com or just phoningitInpod at Twitter and Facebook. It's trying to add some flair to it.
Yeah, I like it. As always, a shout out to Miguel Silva-Leon for our theme song. Check out Saving Miles Lemon, Spotify and Apple Music. And with that, that's all we have for this week. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.